Guys, it's Talia Janae, and welcome back to the Licensed Yapper podcast. Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you guys had a really good week. I'm so excited to film another episode of my amazing podcast that I love so much. Um, But I want to start off again by saying thank you to all the listeners. I know I do this every episode so far, but the love has been so overwhelming. I got so many comments, personal DMs, messages about last week's episode because it was kind of like my first time getting a little vulnerable and hearing you guys find it relatable and that it touched something in you and that you or comments saying that I did really well and that I'm doing better and that I'm getting better. I appreciate those comments so much and I appreciate all the feedback too. I've gotten some really good feedback of things I can do a little bit better, how I can work on things, and I appreciate all of it. So keep it coming. I want to get better at this. So thank you so much again for everybody that has given me some love and some tough love too. I'll take all of it. Um, but yeah, I also want to tap in before we get started on today's topic. I want to get started by saying last week I got pretty vulnerable. Um, I talked about some things that I kind of went through in the past and certain situations that I found myself in. And surprisingly, I got some really cool messages that really touched me, and I kind of want to talk on them and touch on them a little bit. So, last episode, I talked about how I went through a really rough period back in high school where I sat alone by myself at lunch and I kind of lost all my friends during a period of high school, and I was really depressed and I was really going through it. And I spoke about a girl named Brilliance, and I hope you're watching Brilliance. And my boss listened to my podcast and she was like, Tilly, you should reach out to her. Like, you should really reach out to her. People, some people don't get people like that in their lives that help them in a way that they don't even know that they're helping. And you should reach out to her and just tell her, even if she didn't know that she was helping you at that moment, that it meant a lot to you. And I was like, you know what? That is, oh, also shout out to Emily. That's my boss. I know she's listening. But I thought, that's such a good idea. And I DM'd Brilliance and I let her know, just like, hey girl, like that really meant a lot to me. And I kind of told her a little bit of other stuff and she reached back out and she was like, thank you so much. And we had some really good dialogue and that was really sweet and really nice to know. That she did remember that moment. And again, she did mention that she didn't know what I was going through, but she's happy that that made me happy and that she kind of helped me. And that just kind of goes back to what I was talking about last week. People don't know what each other are going through. We don't know. A lot of us put on masks the same way I did. And sometimes it only takes that one person to kind of make you feel wanted, to kind of make you feel special, make you feel like you're not alone. And Brilliance was that for me. So again, thank you, Girly Pop. That was really nice. Um, and then I actually got a message. Last week I talked about a friend that, we kind of went through a rough patch. And I talked about that friendship and how it made me feel. And that friend actually reached out to me, which I thought was so sweet. And it was so genuine. And I could tell that that she really meant what she was saying. And that surprisingly filled a hole that I didn't know I had. Because sometimes I'm I'm someone where like once I kind of cut people out of my life, I'm kind of over it. I'm done. I move on. I don't like to think about it any longer. I'm kind of that kind of girl, like two strikes you're out kind of vibe. And I thought I was over it. When I talked about it last week, even after I filmed, I was like, that did kind of make me feel a certain kind of way, but I'm so someone that kind of puts things away. And like I said, when I saw her out that weekend, I thought I was kind of over it, but I really wasn't. And it surprised me even after I filmed of how I was still feeling about it all. And when she messaged me and told me that she listened to it and about how she felt about it, it kind of gave me closure in a way that I didn't know I needed closure. Uh, and we never know. You never know you needed that. You needed that closure until it happens. You really thought you moved past it. And that really made me smile. I was really happy. A tad emotional because, again, it was something I didn't know I needed, and it just made me feel whole, and it made me feel like I just took a sigh, wow, like that really felt good to receive that message, and it felt completely genuine. I just want to tell her if she's listening, thank you again for that, and um, which is weird because in situations like that, I think some people have situations where, the people that kind of hurt them or hurt their feelings, they don't come back and apologize, right? They don't come back and try to clarify things. They don't. Some people just, they're like, hey, whatever, like, move on, that was in the past, and they keep it going. And then when you get that person that genuinely feels bad, um, it kind of makes you go, wow, like, not even just the maturity, but also just like, I can tell what kind of person you are and the kind of person you became in the time that we weren't friends, and that was really really nice to hear and really really nice to watch and to read, and I really really appreciate that from her. And what's crazy is like when situations like that happen, I don't. It kind of made me feel like, okay, what does this mean, right? Does this mean we're gonna now build a friendship again? Does this mean we're gonna be cordial? Like, what does this mean? And I think in a lot of situations, it doesn't have to be like, oh, we're jumping right back into a friendship exactly where it started off. I think things take time. And I think I put all my trust in this whole situation to God's hands. And if we're meant to be back in each other's lives, I think it'll happen naturally and it'll happen genuinely. And then I think if this could have just been something we needed and we can move forward, we might not be, as close as we used to before. But I think this was something that both of us needed. And I think we both realized that, and it definitely made a difference for me. So I don't know where that relationship's gonna go, but I'm happy with what happened in the past couple days between her and I, and I'm open to anything at this point. Uh, but yeah, those two things happened over the weekend from that one podcast episode, and I don't think I realized coming into this and starting a podcast what could come of it. I think we all want things to be successful, right? We all want things to be successful, whether it's financially successful or popular amongst people. We all kind of strive for that success in our lives. And I haven't gotten to that point yet, right? Where it's like making me some real cash or anything like that. But to see things that I've been struggling with and things that I did struggle with come to a resolution now because of this podcast, I think is really cool. That's really cool and really sick to me. And I'm excited to see where else this podcast is going to take me. Those two wins, I'm counting them as wins. You can call them small wins or big wins, but to me, those are really big wins. And I appreciated all of the love from that podcast. So I'm really excited to keep it going and to see what else happens, and I think those are some good examples of people growing, getting older, becoming wiser, becoming smarter, more emotionally intelligent, which is really, really good. Not a lot of people have that. We all talk about our frontal cortex getting formed once we hit 25, but some of us don't have that emotional intelligence. We don't have that emotional intelligence to step back and say, whoa, maybe I did do something and I want to make up for it. Or how could I have set a situation better for myself, right? I look back at those moments and I say, and I had emotional intelligence to recognize I was sad, to speak about how I was sad, and those people had emotional intelligence to realize, what happened and come to a resolution. So I think emotional intelligence is something that not everybody has. And that's not going to come when your frontal lobe forms, babes. Like, that's something you genuinely have to work on and want to be a better person at. Um, so yeah, that's what I have to say about that last topic. I do want to move on to something that I have multiple conversations about with not even just myself, but with my mom, with God, with my friends. And it's the situation of feeling like you're behind or feeling like you're not supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing at your age, how far you are in life, like feeling like the world is passing you by and you're being left behind. And I think a lot of people in their 20s, especially in their 20s, feel this and feel it heavy, Like, it's something that we don't feel when we're in our teenage years, right? Because we're going through the motions. We're going to high school every single day, waking up, doing homework, going to play a sport, come home, sleep, eat, repeat. We're doing it over and over and over again. But once you hit 20, and once you start realizing and you start figuring out what you want to do with your life, You don't know how to get there. We're not told how to get there. We're not given a blueprint. I always say this all the time. It'd be so much easier if someone just told me these are the steps you have to take to get to where you want to be. Ah, that would be so easy. That would be so easy. Less anxiety, less stress. But it's not like that. They literally push us out into the world and say, "Have at it. Good luck, babe. Like, try your best, girly pop. Like, figure it out." And it's like, whoa, like you're taking us at such a young age, right, in our teenage mind, you're keeping us sheltered from things. And then once we hit 18 or once we hit 20, you let us out in the world and we're supposed to figure out what we're supposed to do with it. It's insane. It's like starting a new board game without any of the instructions. Like it's crazy, or given a map, not being told how to look at it. Like it's crazy. And I know for me personally, I go through this every single day. There's not a day that goes by where I don't like crap on myself a little bit, where I'm like, dang, like I am not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I don't know about other people, but I see it as like little Talia had so many big dreams. I have the same dreams that I've had when I was a kid. The same thing that I wanted to do when I was a kid is the same thing I want to do now. And I feel like sometimes that I'm letting her down, right? One of my biggest fears is getting to an older age, whether it's 30, 40, and not doing what I always said I was supposed to be doing. Ah, goodness, I'm about to get emotional again. That kind of made me tear up. Sorry, y'all. I'm not this emotional. I'm so like I'm really not. I'm a hard girl. I'm a but I'm crying over these stupid things. It's so stupid, but it's so true. Like I have such a fear of getting to the end of my life and being like, what if? Oh, I don't want to ever speak those words, what if? It honestly gives me it's terrifying to me. Like that's a nightmare. Getting to an age where I go, dang, I should have. Or what if I actually took the chance? What if I actually took the shot? What could have my life been like? That is terrifying to me. That is so scary. And I think about it every single day. And I think it's because we let other voices get in our heads, right? Where like we think we can do something, but other people are like, really? That's very out there. You really think you can do that? Or not a lot of people get into that field. Do you really think you can do that? Like, and I'm someone where I'm like, I'm very confident in myself. I don't listen to other people. Other people's thoughts are irrelevant to me. But those thoughts still get to me. They still get to me. They stay in my brain. Not only do they stay in my brain, they circulate in my brain. I remember every single bad thing someone has told me about myself, I remember. I don't know if anybody else is that way. I remember every negative thing somebody has ever said to me, down from being in second grade when some boy told me I had a big nose. I remember that. I remember everything. I remember every negative comment someone has made towards me. I don't know why I'm that way. It just sticks in my brain. I might not think about it all the time, but every once in a blue moon, I'll just be driving it and boom, it'll pop in my head. Like, and little Talia had big dreams. 23-year-old Talia still has big dreams. There's things that I want to do with my life that, people down the street from me might think it's impossible. And I still don't think it's impossible. Like, and what's crazy is, but being 20 and in your 20s, yo, it's something you go through where you're like, whoa, everybody is doing better than me, especially living in the world of social media. We see what everybody our age and where they are at in life, and we keep scrolling and we're scrolling. And we're like, how do they have this at this age? I don't even have, I wouldn't even know how to get that right now. I'm not in a position to have that at 23, but there's a 23-year-old 2 states away who's living the life, or quote unquote living the life. I'm only seeing what they're posting, but living the life that I want to live, doing the career that I want to do. How did they get there and I didn't? How are they getting told yes, but I'm getting told no? What am I doing that's wrong? That's all we do is compare ourselves. We compare where we're at in life. We compare what we look like to other people, whether we like to admit it or not. All we do is compare ourselves. And it sucks. But it's important to know, and trust me, y'all, I'm talking to y'all, but I'm also talking to myself. you have to remind yourself that everybody is on a different timeline. Everybody has a different purpose in life. Everybody has a different story, and everybody has a different journey. Some people's journeys seem easy, like they're just walking on pavement, the wind's blowing, the birds are chirping, they're having a grand old time, and it feels like I'm struggling and crawling to where I want to be, and it's taking so long. Or sometimes even this, I know I've done this. Sometimes we say that person doesn't deserve it. That person, oh, I know that. Oh, I knew that person back in seventh grade. They were such a mean girl. They were a horrible person. Why is she living the life that I want to live now? Why does she get these opportunities and I don't? And she was a bad person. We do any A lot of us do that where we say that person doesn't deserve to have where they're at. They don't deserve to be where they at. They don't deserve to have the money they have. They don't deserve to have that. We all do that, whether we like it or not, whether we want to admit it or not. I'm pretty sure when you get to a certain age, you kind of stop thinking about other people. But right now, yeah, sometimes I do find myself doing that. I have to stop myself and say, "Yo, Talia, that's not cool. I don't know what the girl went through to get there. And even if she did get it easy, that's her path. That's her path. That's her testimony. My testimony, sadly, has to be hard and rough. I have to go through hell and back to get to where I want to be. And so that's just my testimony. And then maybe the path that I'm supposed to go down is supposed to be rough. So when I get to where I want to be, I can relate to people who are now starting that path that is a little rough. You know what I mean? We're all in different places, and it's so easy to compare ourselves. And we have to remember not everything on the internet is real. It's just not, yo. People post what we want them to see. We all post what we want people to see. We're not going to post the bad moments. Why would we do that? And so we have to stop comparing ourselves to things that we really don't know the situation or the story behind. But it's hard to do that. Like, especially still being in my hometown. And y'all, I'm just saying, I, I don't want to be here. I love my little small town here in Louisiana, but I do not see this life for myself, and that doesn't disregard anybody else who sees this life as beautiful as theirs. But I see so much more for myself, and not saying that what I want is better than what people have, but I just want more, right? I want to live in a bigger city. I want to get the heck out of Louisiana, because I don't know if people know this, but there's a saying that people that live in that are born in Louisiana stay here. I don't want to stay here. I want to leave and come back and visit my family. My family doesn't even live here. My mom and my dad would move to Florida. Like, none of us want to stay here because I feel like you get stuck. I don't want to feel stuck. And sometimes I find myself getting or procrastinating. Like, Talia, the world's not going to stop for me. You have dreams, you have aspirations, you have goals, you have to go for them. And it's hard because I used to think I was such a confident person. I'm going to go for what I want. But I started to realize once I got into my 20s, I'm scared. I'm scared to fail. Failing was one of my biggest fears. I am scared to fail. I am scared of a no. I am scared of doors not opening. I'm knocking on and knocking and knocking on these doors, but they're not opening to me. That is scary to me. To me, it is scary that I will stay here. It is scary that I will move to the neighborhood 2 blocks down from my parents and build a family here. That's scary to me. That's a fear of mine. Not saying that it's bad for anybody else. If that's your dream, that's your dream. But for me, it's scary. I don't want to be that girl who says what if and I should have. I really, really don't. But I also give myself grace and I pray all the time, and I feel like not I feel, I know God has a story and a path and a journey for me to go down. And even though I wish I moved out of this state once I turned 18, maybe I wasn't ready, right? Maybe God knows that I wouldn't have been ready at 18, and I'm probably not ready at 23, but I'll be ready at 24. I'll be ready at 25. He has it. He knows when I start to fly. That's when my time will come, and I always say that it's not my time yet. It's not my time yet. I know one of these days will be my time. One of these days I will succeed. One of these days will be the moment that I have been dreaming about since I was 8 years old, and it's going to be the best. But you want to make sure you're ready for it, because there's things out there in this world, y'all, that are scary and that we're not ready for, and things that we think we might handle differently when we face it, but then when we actually face it, we treat it a whole different way. And I learned that a lot. Y'all, every day I tell my mother, I wish I was doing this, and I can't believe I'm not, but it's all in time, babes. It's all in time, and it's easier saying it because I'm gonna say this on here, and then once I end this, I'm gonna go in my bed and start driving myself crazy again because it's hard to stop doing it because we all do it. It's such a habit at this point. It's ingrained in our brains to think we're behind, and especially living in this small town. Everybody you went to high school with is now getting married, pregnant, buying houses. And surprisingly, in that aspect, I know I'm not ready for that. I am grown enough to be like, ooh, I do not want to be married right now. I do not want a baby right now. That's just not the path for me at this moment. Do I want to start a family? For sure, of course. But I know it's just, I want to succeed professionally, I guess. And you know what? I tell my friends this all the time. It might sound selfish, but I don't want to. I don't want to have a kid right now. I don't want to be married. And my dad told me, I remember my dad and my mom told me, Tilly, it's okay to be selfish. Like, be selfish. You know what I mean? Like, do what you want to do because the second you have that, it's things kind of stop. And every day I get on Instagram or get on Facebook and there's somebody that I graduated with a ring on their finger or they're down the aisle or they got a new baby and it's like, whoa, am I supposed to be doing that? But I go, absolutely not. The Lord knows I want no baby right now. I don't even want to be married. Like, of course I want to be in a relationship and I definitely want to be in a healthy relationship. Do I want to be married? Do I want a ring on my finger? No. No, not at all. And I'll tell you why. I there's things I want to accomplish before I get married. I want to be Talia Goings. I love being Talia Janae Goings. I want to be Talia Janae Goings for as long as possible. I feel like my life is just getting started. It didn't even get started yet. It's just getting started. And I don't want to lose that. I love being me. I love being independent. Selfishly, I love being in a position where I'm not to report to anybody. I don't want to have to text my husband what I'm doing, where I'm going. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want that. I want to do what I want to do. I want to get up and do what I want. I want to go up. I want to get up and travel wherever I want. I want to have that luxury. I like being Talia Janae Goings. I don't want to be attached to anybody right now. And that might sound selfish, but hey, I'll be selfish. There's so many things that I want Talia Janae Goings to accomplish before she's married. I have goals, I have dreams, I have aspirations. There's things I want. I want to be also financially. I'm not financially in a position to be married right now. I think there's a maturity there to realize that some people's paths are not your own. One of my best friends, she's married, she has a baby, she has her own home with her husband. Love that for them. I just texted her the other day when I saw and visited my nephew. When I visited my nephew, I just told her the other day, I was like, girl, you and your husband are beautiful parents. Y'all are so good to this baby. Like, seeing you as a mother it makes me emotional. Like, y'all are such good parents. But I'm smart enough to know that ain't my life right now. That ain't for me. And what's crazy is we always sit there when we're younger and we're like, I'm gonna get married by 23 and have babies by 25. Yeah, no. I'm 2 years from 25 and I do not think I will have a child, nor do I think I'll be married. I just think there's more for me. And living in a small town, that's all you see. Yo, everybody's getting pregnant. And I'm like, why are you pregnant? And I sometimes have to remind myself that what I want for myself is not what everybody else wants for their lives, right? We all have different wants and needs. Some people want to be married right now. They want to have kids right now. And that's claps to them. But that doesn't have to be my path. And I think we push that on a lot of people to do that. And a lot of people aren't ready for it. And I think we forget marriage that is a contract you're signing to the government saying that y'all are married. Like, that is such a serious thing. I don't want to do that right now. Of course I want to be in a relationship. I think I want to be in a nice, healthy, serious relationship. Marriage? Mm, no, thank you. Like, I'm good with that. Like, I don't want to buy a house right now. I'm not in a position to buy a home. Like, that's just not my path, and that's okay. Not stop comparing ourselves. That goes back to that. Stop comparing ourselves. And it's so easy when you live in your hometown and Becky and John and Sarah is all getting married and with popping out kids. But also I see that and I never feel not 1 ounce of jealousy. If anything, I'm like, I'll like the post, I'll be like, I love that you're getting married, Sarah. Thank goodness it's not me, y'all. It's just not for me at the moment. What's crazy is, I went over to my friend's house and she was like, I think Talia's gonna be the last one to have a kid. And I was like, Talia will definitely be the last one to have a kid. Like, I just want to be, and I have too much anxiety to have a kid right now, bro. Like, being 20 is terrifying. And I saw something on TikTok that was like, nobody is more stressed than a girl in her 20s thinking she's running out of time. And if that ain't the truth, child, this is not where 8-year-old T thought she would be at 23. I think, this is just not where I thought I'd be. I didn't think I'd still be in Louisiana, but I am, and that's okay. I remember I prayed when the beginning of 2026 happened. I was like, God, I know something's coming. Like, I know you got something cooking up there for me, and I think we all have to realize maybe we're not at a spot maturely. Is that a word? Maturely? Maturely. That's not right. What is it? We haven't reached a stage of maturity for what God has for us, right? Like, we're not ready for it yet. And that's fine. And I think we have to be okay with that. Trust me, I'm not that okay with it. Y'all, I'll be in bed at night, like, talking to God, and I'm just like, when is it my turn? Like, come on already. Like, TikTok. Like, what are you doing up there, bro? That's crazy, but I do. It stresses me out, but I have to remember that what will be for me will be mine, bro. It will be mine, and it will be so different from what everybody else has. And it will be specifically made for Talia, and I can't wait for that moment and to lay off of us. And I think it also is our parents also put a lot of pressure on us. Whether they know it or not, there's a lot of pressure to find someone, or there's a lot of pressure to figure out what you want to do with life. And to be real, some people don't know what they want to do until they reach like 25, 26. We feel like we need to move so fast. And with social media, it makes us feel like we're not doing enough. It's not normal for a 23-year-old to have $100,000 in their bank account and to be traveling. That's not normal. That's not typical. That's not the average. If anything, that's like that's out of this world, right? That happens to a few of us, but that's not what it's usually like. A lot of us probably have some bro. I was on TikTok and some girl was like, "I'm 23 and I have like $1,000 in my bank account." Like, some people, we aren't all on the same level, and that's okay. But it's hard. It's so hard. I know a lot of people can relate to this. I'm my biggest critic. We're our own biggest critic. We judge ourselves more than anybody else can judge us. Like, all those bad comments that I say that I remember from a child, none of those people hurt me more than I hurt myself. None of those people can say, look, the things I say to myself, saying my nose was big in second grade means nothing to me. I am a mean girl to myself. I will look in the mirror and just dog on myself. Bro, like, Talia, you're not doing enough. Talia, what are you, like, I do that all the time. Y'all have nothing on me. My insults are horrible to myself. And I'm being real because I really put a lot of pressure on myself. I probably put more pressure on myself than anybody else. Like, I don't think my parents know how much I kind of drive myself crazy. And it's also just the thought of like the unknown. Like, I don't know how to get where I want to go. And that drives me crazy. I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to do it. It just has to happen. And I've had doors closed before where it's felt like, is this for me? Am I supposed to be doing this? God, is this what you have planned for my life? Do I have it all wrong? Like, what is my purpose? And we all have different things of what we think our purpose is. But for me, I'm going to share what I think my purpose is. I've always thought I've had the purpose to entertain. I don't know in what aspect that is. I don't know. Actually, I do know. I think, I think, like, I remember if you think back to my first episode, I said that my biggest asset is my personality. And I know I'm supposed to be doing something with my personality. I know that there's something bigger out there for me. And that's why I kind of started this podcast. I knew that I'm supposed to be in front of people. I want to perform. I like to be in front of a bunch of people. I like to talk amongst a lot of people. So that's what I feel like my purpose is. I feel like I'm supposed to entertain in some shape or form. My coworker says that he thinks I want to be famous. And it's like, what's wrong with that? But I don't know if it's fame that I want. I don't think that's not something I strive for, but I definitely want to entertain and I want to be in front of a lot of people and I want to do things that are big. I've always been a big dreamer. Growing up, my nickname was Hollywood. My dad called me Hollywood. I know that there's something bigger and meatier out there for me. And I feel like weirdly, ooh, I'm about to share something that's crazy. I don't know if this might sound conceited or just crazy, but I've always had this weird feeling, even from a young age. I tell my mom this all the time. I always have this weird feeling that no matter how stressful I feel, no matter how behind I feel I am, no matter how I feel like things are just not working out in my favor, doors are closing, I have this weird feeling that it'll all work out. I have this strange feeling that I will get where I want to get to. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know what the journey is going to look like, but I just know that I'm going to quote unquote make it. And whether make it means for some people, make it means for some people to be the top realtor in their state, or make it can be to I don't know, be a doctor that they feel like that they made it, right? Made it can mean it. Whoa, I can't speak today, but making it can mean different things for different people. For me, making it is doing something artistic, performing, being in front of the camera, doing something that when people see me, they're happy, they laugh. Like that to me is making it. I want to be a person who I mean, you know what? I get so okay. I get so scared talking about my dreams to people and telling people my dreams and aspirations because, again, people's opinions. Even though I hate people's opinions, I think of them. But for me, my dream has always been to be a performer. Right? I want to be an actress. That's something that I have really been trying to get the ball rolling on. I take acting lessons every week, and it's always been something that I said I wanted to do. And not just in a way of like little kids say they want to be an actor. I've always said I want to be an actor. Like I've looked at commercials and I've seen myself being in that position. Yo, I watch movies and I'm like, ugh, I could have done that so much better. Like that's just something that I've been really pushing myself to really go for in the past 2 years. And what's weird is it's a very out there dream, but I feel like it'll happen. Crazy. I know y'all, but I feel like it'll work. I'm not saying I'll be the biggest actor in the world, but I know I'm going to be on sets. I want to work on a set. I want to work on cameras. I want to host things. That is where I see myself. I just see that I have the personality for it. And I've been making moves and trying to get that ball rolling. And I feel like things are clicking. Let's just say that. And um, I think I'm gaining the confidence too. I think I have confidence in normal life, but I don't. But when it comes to that, I feel scared, which is crazy because it's that it's something that I've been wanting my whole life, and I feel like in certain times, like last year or the year after or the year before, I had a moment where I thought it was going to happen. It was going to start. My journey was going to start. I was talking to an agency. I thought I was going to sign with them. It was like this close. that it was about to happen, and I was so excited. I was crying. I thought my life was beginning. And all in all, to say I didn't sign with that agency, and it did break me for a little bit. I kind of stopped pursuing it for a while. I kind of took my foot off the gas because that was a door that closed, and I didn't understand why it closed. Um, and I wanted it back so badly. So I kind of put it to the wayside for a while, procrastinated quite a bit because that hurt and it felt like a definite no. And instead of just picking myself back up again and going for it again, it just kind of put me down a little bit. And now I'm taking lessons every week, and hopefully really soon I'll have that opportunity again to audition in front of agencies to get that. And that's what life's about, bro. And we're in our 20s. These are the years where we take chances. Starting this podcast is a way of me taking a chance. And it's scary. I don't know if this podcast is going to be successful necessarily, but I've been loving doing it, and I don't get millions of views, but the views that I do get makes me happy. I'm happy with it. I don't know if coming up I'll sign with an agency again, but I have to try. Because, like I said, I can't look back at my life and say, what if I gave it another go? I can't do it. I can't go. And I think we realize that happens in movies. Like, there's like a guy on his dying bed in the movie, and he's like, oh, maybe if I would have just given it another shot. People actually do that. Like, that's real. That's real. People, their life flashes before their eyes, and they realize they didn't do or take the chance that they've always wanted to do. And it takes people and sometimes, bro, there's stories out there, it took people years to get where they wanted to go. Like, Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish wasn't always a successful comedic actress. She was in things, but she didn't have the career she had now. And she was what, in her late 30s and her 40s, and then boom, her career took off. And sometimes it happens at different times for all of us. I pray to God that it doesn't happen when I'm 40. That happens as soon as possible because I got a clock and I'm getting sick of waiting. But some people's time is just not now, and it's even though it's so hard to come to terms with, we have to realize that we all have a different time, and we're in our 20s. Our 20s are for traveling and pursuing our dreams, yo. Pursue them, whatever you want to do. And I'm telling people because I wanted to start a podcast. I said I was going to start a podcast back in November. I didn't get started doing this podcast until January, and I was like, all right, I really got to get started on it, and now I'm doing it. I kind of put off acting for a bit, and now I'm putting, the gas on the pedal, and I'm going for it again. These are the years we do this. That's a TikTok sound. These are our years. Like this, our 20s we have to own. They're scary, but our 20s are for trial and error. They are. This is the time when we get to make mistakes. We don't want to get to our 30s and 40s and make these mistakes. This is the time that we can do this. We can fast track our own timeline. We can do that. You know? We have to make sure we're doing it and not just sit aside and be like, it'll happen. Nah, the world's not gonna stop for us, y'all. We have to go for what we want, and trust me, it's all gonna be worth it. And right now, it seems like nothing is happening, and that everybody's passing us by, everybody's living life, everybody's experiencing things, the things that I want to experience. It feels like that, and it feels like we have this heavy weight on our shoulders, and we're stressed every day because we don't know how the heck we're going to get out of Louisiana, or we don't know how the heck we're going to get to that job that we really want, or how we're going to get to the city we want to live in, or how we're going to get to the country we want to live in. But it will happen. This is the time to do that. And maybe it won't work out. But going through these trial and errors in our 20s, we're going to figure out what we're actually supposed to do. We're going to figure it out, yo. And we're all together on this. And don't think you're alone. All of us have those same thoughts. And what's crazy is because like you'll get on TikTok or social media and you realize, yo, we all feel the same. Or we all live the same life. We all have the same insecurities and might be different in certain ways, but at the core of it, we're all insecure. We're all scared. We all don't know if we really have it in us to do it. And we all just want to be successful and happy. Success means different things for everybody, but we all want to be successful. We all just want to be happy at the end of the day. So stop comparing yourself to people on social media because we don't know what life they're actually living. They're showing us what they want us to see. Stop beating yourself up. And that's so hard for me to say because I do it to myself a lot, but stop beating yourself up. Your time is coming. It might not be now. It might not be tomorrow. It might not be a month from now. It might not even be a year from now, but it's coming. And when it comes, it's going to have your name written all over it. You're going to feel like all of that stress was worth it because now you're living what your quote unquote dream is. So, and don't make other people pressure you. Don't feel pressured going on Facebook and seeing all your high school friends get married. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe getting married right now is not your path. You know what I mean? I know it's not mine. Every time I go see my little nephew, and I leave him, I go, oh, Jesus, thank you, I don't got a kid. Because I know that's just not for me right now. One day that will be for me, but at this point in time, I want Talia Janae going. That's who I want to succeed. I want that little T inside of me to be happy. I want her to be proud of me. I want her to feel like I did her justice, and I can't wait to see where life and where God takes me. I know it's not going to be an easy road, but at the end of the day, we're all going to have our own testimonies, right? And all of our testimonies are going to relate to at least one person, and that all that matters. If we all had it easy in this world, bro, like, some of us have to work a little harder. And that's not like working a little harder, but some of us just have to go through certain things, to appreciate it more probably, or just to, I don't know. I don't know. But we all have something for us. So take it easy on yourself. Like when you feel yourself about to say something not so nice about yourself, stop yourself and say, "Yo, let me be thankful for the things that I have now because the life that you're living that you think you're so behind on, there's somebody else out there that wishes they are at the place that you're at currently. Remember that. There's somebody that wishes that they had the things that you have at this moment, and you're looking at other people like, why don't I have that? But there's somebody looking at you that's like, why don't I have what you have? So always remember that. While you're staring at somebody else, there's somebody staring at you. So take your time. Don't rush it. Don't compare yourself. Everything will happen the way it's supposed to for you. We all have different journeys. Some people's journeys seem real easy. Seem like a piece of cake right now. You feel like you're in the dumps, but one day we'll not get. Someone said. People say there's nothing lower than rock bottom. I don't think I've hit rock bottom. It feels like it, but always remember that there's more for us out there. To not stress yourself out, and we all have our own stories. And I can't wait to experience my own story. And I can't wait until, like, I don't know what future Talia is doing right now, but I know she's happy. I know she's successful. I know she's in a good relationship. I know she's thriving. She's that girl. She's that girl. I know she is. Can't wait to be her one day. But yeah, I hope you'll feel something from that, and you'll walk away from this feeling a lot better about your situations. Girl, we're all in the same boat, girly pot, and I'll be there for you. So we'll have each other's backs. All right. Now let's go ahead and move into my reality recap section of my podcast. And my mom told me, she was like, also my mom was like, Celia, stop mentioning me in your podcast. But I don't know, I feel like I'm definitely my mother's daughter. And there's so many things that I have inherited from her that it's just, and she's also just a funny character. My mother is a character, y'all. So she was like, Talia, give me more depth. So I'm trying to give y'all more depth, all right? Mary told me to speak to y'all, so I'm trying to do that. But on to my reality recap. We're gonna go ahead and start with Real Housewives of Potomac, and it's finally ended. Reunion part 3 was last Sunday, and basically we're kind of wrapped up the whole situation with Wendy and Eddie. Karen came out, and Karen was kind of rude to Wendy. Karen did a bit much, but Karen was just basically like, you need to stop talking. You're talking too much, you're sharing a little bit much about your situation. And I feel like before the reunion, Wendy actually wasn't sharing a lot about her arrest. But kind of do agree with what Karen was saying. I think especially with what's coming out now about Wendy and Eddie, like now they're going to be charged or they're going to go to trial separately and not together, which a lot of people are saying they're kind of preparing for Eddie to take the fall and Eddie to go to jail. I don't know what to believe, y'all. I don't know if they actually did some illegal things where I think their house actually got stolen. Do I think all the things they said were stolen are actually stolen? I don't think so. And one thing I know, y'all, if the feds or the IRS is after you, you can't run. It's wrapped, babe. Cut. The show's over. Like, so I'm really scared for her. The how Andy was talking to her was like he was saying goodbye. Like he was saying he was just saying how much he loved Wendy and how Wendy's one of his favorite housewives and he just hopes for the best for her. It just felt like a goodbye. So I really don't know how this is gonna end. It's really scary. And I just hope the best for Wendy because I love her too. She's one of my favorite housewives as well. But also, recently coming out, the whole Monique, Chris, and Stacey thing, apparently Monique put out a tweet the other day. And let me read it to y'all because she's basically, taking the heat off of Stacey's back. And she said, a lot of time has passed since the reunion was filmed, and after gaining more info since then, I don't believe Stacey had anything to do with any of that BS. I'll probably go live on IG at some point this week and give you all the entire story. Duh. None of us really thought Stacey was messing around with Chris Samuels. And Chris Samuels isn't that cute. So if you want to be so for real. So I feel like this was a scheme set up by Kay and Cookie. It was. And I know it was. Because Kay has such a dislike for Stacey. I think she wants to do anything she could to just put something on Stacey. And she took this Chris Samuels storyline and tried to run with it, but it was absolutely ridiculous. Why in the world? Why would Stacey want Chris Samuels? Do you want Chris Samuels? Does anybody want Chris Samuels? I'm just kidding, but that was such a wild thing for them to try to run with. That was so stupid, and of course it's untrue. I'm not surprised by that. That's kind of all that happened at the reunion, and now we're wrapping up Real Housewives of Potomac, and that's it on them. So that was a good season. I can't wait to the next one, but we're moving on to Love is Blind. So the last episode, Emma and Mike were at the altar. That's where it ended, right? And of course, Mike said no. Duh! I am not surprised. Emma said yes, but I'm not surprised that Mike said no because Emma doesn't know if she wants to have kids. Y'all, I don't know why he even decided to propose to Emma. I don't know why he thought in a few weeks, in 3-4 weeks, she would change her mind about having kids. Emma has some real trauma, some real things she needs to go through and get past before she can have kids. And she was telling him that, and I'm gonna blame it a little bit on her because she should have been just been honest with him and been like, "Hey, I really don't want to have kids. I know you do. Where did we go in our relationship?" And I blame it on him because you didn't have to take old girl to the altar in front of y'all's families to tell her, but you're not ready to have kids yet. We know this. Y'all should have not even gotten to the altar. Y'all should have just broken up and tried to date while Emma kind of figured that out. I don't know if they're still together. In the reunion trailer, we didn't really see much of them. So something tells me that they kind of tried to date after, and then I don't think it worked out because old boy Mike wants to have kids and Emma doesn't want to. So I didn't see that working out anyways. Then let's move on to Devontae and Brittany. Y'all, this was very embarrassing and hard to watch. Ladies, we have to stop getting on our knees and begging for men. Please sister, we have to stop. You should not be begging for a man to love you. I've said this so many times. We have to stop. We have to know that there's more for us out there. And Devontae did not want Brittany. And I don't understand how Brittany didn't see this. Brittany wanted to be married so bad. Old girl bought a dress before the show. She wanted to be married. She wanted a husband. And I think even though Devontae was not treating her the best and not calling her pretty and not giving her the affection she wanted, she was just going to say yes and say okay and to be okay with the bare minimum. be okay with mediocre. Why are we being okay with mediocre? There's so much more out there for us. I can't stand when my friends stay with guys who aren't worth it, who treat them like crap, who don't treat them the way they're supposed to be, and we feel like for some reason that that's what we deserve. Or sometimes even worse, we know we deserve more, but we're scared to be alone. I would rather be alone. I would rather be single for the rest of my life than to lower my standards for a man who doesn't deserve me. And a lot of women can't say that. But I can sit up here and say that I will never, ever, ever settle for a man. And Brittany was going to settle for Devontae. Whereas Devontae, baby, he was up out of there. He said, all right, I gotta go. Peace. Like flew out there. He got down on to shut the door and drove off. While Brittany's sitting on the couch, smiling in your ear, talking about we're still gonna be engaged. We might not get married today, but we're still gonna be together. We're gonna have the best time. Like, no, girlie, he is breaking up with you. He doesn't want to be with you. He has showed you so many times he didn't want to, and now you're in a place where it's looking like you're a little delusional. And it's looking a little desperate. I hate calling women that, but it's looking that way because why are you not seeing the signs? Why are you not seeing that you deserve more and like he doesn't want to give you more? Like it was so hard to watch. It sucked for her. And I don't know, in the reunion trailer, it seems like they plan to stay together. She wore her ring because she said something like, "Did you not think I had my ring still on?" So it makes me think that he promised her that they were going to stay together. He went off, cheated on her or something. Our whole girl is still walking around with a ring on her finger thinking they're getting engaged. That's what it looks like. I don't know. We'll see when the reunion comes, but that was a very hard scene to watch. Ooh, that I was just cringing the entire time. Now, with Amber and Jordan, so much stuff has come out about them, yo. So apparently, Amber and Jordan were never supposed to say yes at the altar. They said yes, they got married, but apparently Amber was going to say yes and he was going to say no, and they had an agreement about that. But, or no, it was, they were both going to say no, and then at the altar, Amber just said yes, so Jordan said yes, and then they got married. But apparently, it's saying that now they got divorced. And in the reunion trailer, Amber like storms off. So it's good to say, and a lot of things are coming out that they're not currently together. And which is crazy because when they said yes, I actually was excited when I was watching it. I was like, okay, like these two people, they seem like they really love each other. I always said they were boring, but they seemed like they wanted each other and they loved each other. But now it's like, ooh, this is embarrassing. They're getting divorced now. Why did y'all say yes when y'all agreed to say no? Like, what was the reason for that? And then also, I think people on this show, stop bringing your kids to meet people on this show. I also have to say, I don't think Love is Blind is for people with kids. I'm sorry. I know that sounds so bad. I don't think it's for people who have kids. I think it's so wrong to introduce your kid to somebody and then tell them that you're going to get married to them. And then a week later, you get embarrassed and you're at the altar and your partner tells you no. We have to stop doing this. Kids are so impressionable. We have to stop introducing our kids to these willy-nilly people. We have to stop. Like, oh, that whole thing made me so confused. So I can't wait to hear the tea about that. Because the last time we'll talk about Love is Blind is next week when the reunion comes out. So I'm excited about that. Next, we have Alex and Ashley. I knew Ashley was not going to say yes to that man, and I called it. I knew she was going to be fed up with the lies. His stories don't make sense. He speaks as if is writing an essay and he's trying to get to the word count. Like he just throws in any type of like what are we talking about? Like we've lost the plot. I thought we were talking about this, but we're actually talking about this. Like the man's all over the place and the lies were a lot. And she honestly dodged a bullet. I'm not the biggest Ashley fan, but I thought Alex was not the best man either. I don't know why they went to the altar. It seemed like she was going to say no anyways, and he was definitely going to say no. So I don't know why they even went this far along. Bro, you know you don't have to get to the altar. Y'all can break up beforehand. Like, I'm not bringing my family to this quote-unquote wedding when I'm about to say no to somebody. Like, that blows my mind. Actually, came prepared with this long speech and basically told off Alex, and he's obviously a man, and he has pride, and he feels like his pride was kind of hit, or his ego was kind of hit a little bit, and afterwards, his like groomsmen were like, "Hey, do you want to go check on her?" And he was like, "No." That man is up with him, yo. And I feel like something's gonna come out at the reunion. And I think at the reunion, Ashley's gonna say something. I think something more more stuff went down with them, and she's gonna expose it at the reunion. But I also think Vanessa and Nick are gonna be like, can you please like clarify your life story to us, because it's very confusing and it's very strange and it's very weird. But I didn't expect them to get married, so I'm not surprised that they didn't get married. I think we're gonna learn a lot more at the reunion about their situation that we didn't really know. Connor and Bree weren't in this episode, but I think for the reunion they're gonna be together. I think they're gonna be boyfriend and girlfriend. They just seem like they weren't done with each other, so I think at the reunion they're gonna reveal that they've been dating this whole time. Okay, next, I want to talk about Jessica. In the reunion clip, it looks like Jessica is coming for blood, and I feel like Jessica's about to spill the tea on Chris. And of course, Chris is sitting in the reunion talking about, I don't like how I reacted. Of course, you don't. Men always have to come back and realize that they were crappy. When like they don't never realize it in the moment, but then afterwards they want to all be sorry and have their tail between their legs. No, sir, you're about to get told off, and I can't wait to see it. Now, let's talk about the savior of this season, Vic and Christine. Y'all, seeing them get married made me so happy. I knew they were going to stay married. I love seeing his mom and his sister meet Christine, and you could tell that his mom was like, yeah, this is the woman for my son. And like, I knew they were going to get married. I loved them getting married. I think they're still married because in the reunion pictures, they have the same color on. So I think they came matching, and they just are beautiful together. This season was made for them to meet each other, and I think they're going to be beautiful in each other's lives, and I can't wait to see their story unravel in the reunion and what else they've been up to, because Netflix owes them so much. Netflix to send them on a trip as much as they cut them out of the show. We barely got to see them, and they're the only ones that really got married. But that was it for Love is Blind. Again, it's wrapping up next season with the reunion, so we're going to go in a lot deeper detail when the reunion happens. All right, now let's get to, again, I say this every time, my favorite show on Bravo, Summer House. So first off, I want to talk about Carl and Kyle. It's weird that when Kyle started Loverboy, Carl said he invested $15,000 into Loverboy when he didn't even have a lot of money back then. And when Carl started his company, Soft Bar, Kyle invested zero. Even Jesse Solomon, who he's known for a year, invested in his company. But Kyle, who is his best friend, who he invested his money into his company, didn't invest for him. It's not giving friend. And I hate saying that, but it's giving what everybody says about Kyle. Kyle kind of thinks about Kyle, and I think it's kind of strange for Kyle not to do the same for his quote unquote best friend. Like, come on, dude, you couldn't just give me 10,000, 5,000, nothing in my business, but I gave you so much money in your business. I've worked for your business, and you can't do the same in return for me. Again, y'all, don't pour into other people's cups when they're not going to pour into yours. That's a friendship that I want no parts of. So I thought that was very strange. And the fact that Carl voiced it and didn't hide it away for Kyle to not make him look bad makes me know that their relationship is not where it used to be. Off to the Jesse and Sierra situation, I am so happy that Sierra sat down Jesse and told him how she was feeling, because I think a lot of the times, a lot of us women, we find relationships with men, real true friendships. We think we found true friendships with guys, and we trust them, and we think we found a safe place with a guy best friend, and then they turn around and they show us that at the end of the day, they are still just a guy, and they do guy things that will hurt your feelings. And I think Sierra was really hurt that Jesse kind of tried to take their friendship into something that she actually valued, into something more. And I think she just felt disrespected. I think she felt just judged by how off she looks, and I think she just felt sexualized and not looked at as a real friend. I think that really hurt her, and I think Sierra is a lot like me in a way of, we don't want to date just to date. We're not a hookup kind of girl. We want to be in a relationship where we are pursued by a man, where a man takes us seriously. And Jesse knew that about her, and still was like, I just want to make out with her. Like, bro, what? Why would you do that to her when especially when she shared with you how she felt about dating? Like, I think she just felt disrespected in the whole situation, and I'm happy that she did that. He apologized, and the thing with Jesse is, like, we forgive him, but he needs to be smarter. He's at an age where he needs to start taking people's feelings into account, and I think he's going to have a season that West had last season. this season isn't going well for him, and I think if he stays on this trajectory, it's just going to go down. But I'm happy for her for stepping up for herself. KJ and Dara, super, super cute. I think they're still together. I saw pictures of them on a red carpet. They're gorgeous. I love that KJ's a lover boy. I love that he just wants to really find a girlfriend, and they're really cute together. And Dara's a really fun addition into this show. Let's talk about Amanda and Kyle. I find it very interesting that Amanda and Kyle had a really good episode together, but they're now currently separated. Like, it's so weird to see the juxtaposition of them having a great time in their relationship and their marriage, knowing that they're separated now. It was a weird trip. But I think this just shows that the relationship had ebbs and flows. It was good one summer, bad one summer, good one summer, bad one summer. Obviously, going to watch their relationship deteriorate in this summer. Amanda did an interview where she said in October they decided to, you know, just date each other again, try to figure out if they can, fall back in love. It didn't work, and then they decided to separate. So I think we're going to see a lot of their relationship just go on the decline, and I'm very interested and intrigued to see how this is going to go and where else this is going to go. Because I don't think it's going to get any better. Sorry. And I think that's really it with Summer House. It was a really good episode. It kind of felt like a filler episode, so there's not much else to report on. But I have another reality show that's about to come back on our list that's going to be part of our reality recaps, and that's The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I am obsessed. A couple years ago, not like 2 years ago, I went down a rabbit hole of the whole Mormonism religion. I find it very interesting. And like very addicting in a way of like the things they do is just so interesting and intriguing to me, where I kind of just went down a rabbit hole about Mormonism. And then I started watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And then once Mormon Wives started, I was like, oh, I'm obsessed. And these girls are not really Mormon, but they kind of grew up Mormon. But I'm so excited for this third, what is this, fourth season? Oh, God, I don't know. That's coming back on the 12th. So they will be in our reality recaps. Taylor is now the Bachelorette. Demi, I think, is a friend of now. We're going to see where that situation is going to go from last season. So I'm just really excited to start my recaps on that season and to add another show into my reality recaps. But yeah, guys, I hope you really, really enjoyed this episode, and I hope you take something from it. I just want to tell you guys again to trust yourselves. Everything happens for a reason. Your time is coming, no matter how difficult it feels like life is at the moment. Your time is going to come, and you're going to thrive when your time does come. And I wish everybody the best, and thank you again for all the support. And I can't wait to see you guys next Monday for another episode of The Licensed Yapper. Your girl Talia is dipping. Peace and blessings, y'all. Bye.